Three, two, one. Yesterday, Keith, did I not mention that I pray that the Great Spirit will be forever at everyone's side? Now, I know the world is so stupid. The world is so ugly. But if you get yourself a bow and arrow and you spend maximum time in the great outdoors, that once you get to full draw with the bow and arrow setup of your choice, I'm going to tell you right about here, there's no Joe Biden. So happy hunting season, everybody. I know you, Keith, you are desperate to get in a tree stand in the great state of Kansas to shoot one of those giant boneheaded backstrappers. So happy Spirit of the Wild hunting season, Insanity 23, everybody. I think that's the most important message to cleanse our souls. Don't you, Keith?
I do. And Ted, you and I are a big part of Hunter Nation at hunternation.org. It seems so simple, but it really is this simple. Activism will solve this problem. It was activism that led those patriots to the Bridge at Concord. It was activism that led those patriots to the walls of the Alamo. It was patriotism that allowed those young men to hit the beaches of Normandy, and so on and so forth in history. And we need activism now. HunterNation.org is involved in a lot of things. We're trying to get the wolf delisted. We're fighting back bureaucracies in a lot of states. But at the end of the day, Ted, if people, they just go to the website and they look and they go, oh, yeah, they're doing good things, but they don't join us and become members. Right now, I'm going to put up on the screen, we have Hunter Pride 365 going on at hunternation.org, really to show your hunting pride. That's number one. But number two, those dollars fund the fight. Why is it important that people actually put their money and their name where their values are?
Well, I got to tell you, there was a young man just 2 days ago here in Michigan, loves to hunt. He and his family shoot their bows all year. They scout. They manage wildlife habitat, which is the source of quality air, soil, and water. That's due to the hunting, fishing, trapping, ranching, farming families of a nation. And here's why Hunter Nation is so important, because we're talking about the engineered invasion of America, which is so horrifying. Engineered recidivism, the cultivation of violent crime by our own court system, the engineered homelessness, where people who are shooting up heroin and pooping on the streets are literally given a pass, if not a reward. Well, this young man was setting up a tree stand, and because we have lying, corrupt, criminal, untrustworthy bureaucrats in the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, and in every state, by the way, I got examples in all 50 states, that he was raking acorns a few feet. Now, everyone follow this. A young man who can't wait to perform his responsibility in harvesting the surplus deer, because there's 100,000 smashed by cars every year in Michigan. They say it's 60,000. Well, they're not looking in the weeds. They're not looking in the cattails. He was given a ticket with over a $300 fine for raking acorns closer to his tree stand. Now, we're going to fight that, and we're going to win that. And in Colorado, they want to ban mountain lion hunting, which in every instance when they've done that, they've taken our tax dollars and they pay USDA hunters to slaughter those mountain lions and those bears and then bury them in a hole in the ground. So there is a scourge of anti-nature. People that hate God's miracle creation will literally put bears and sandhill cranes in Michigan and wolves in Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin, and now mountain lions out in Colorado. They want to put them in the liability column instead of the asset column. Those animals have to be harvested. The surplus has to be harvested because millions of dollars every year are paid to ranchers and farmers for destroyed livestock by bears and lions because we don't harvest an adequate percentage of those bears and lions. So when you think you're saving lions by banning the mountain lion season, you're not saving any animals. You're just costing taxpayers millions of dollars. So HunterNation.org and Hunt the Vote is about waking up the most powerful conservative army in North America. And that most powerful conservative voting army in America are the licensed hunting families. And tragically, not many of them vote. Not many of them are even registered to vote. When I say not many, in some states, more than 50% of licensed hunters haven't voted their core values. That's why these animal rights maniacs and these anti-hunting maniacs, anti-freedom maniacs, pro-crime maniacs, pro-recidivism maniacs, pro-invasion, they're winning simply because licensed hunters don't vote. If we could get a meaningful percentage of licensed hunters to vote, we would put all wildlife back in the asset column instead of the liability column, with the denial and the disgusting hatred for balanced wildlife and wildlife habitat. HunterNation.org and Hunt the Vote. And it's not just about hunting. It's about all freedoms, including our First Amendment, our Second Amendment, our Fourth Amendment. Game wardens can't just walk onto your property because they want to harass you. They have to have a search warrant. And in most states, they don't need one. Well, in my home, on my private property, you better have one, a search warrant, that is. My point is that the apathy has created every problem America is facing right now, and many of the problems America is facing right now is cultural suicide. So hunters, please go to HunterNation.org, join, become a member, and get those bullet points where we can save the mountain lion, we can save the wolf, and we can save the bear, and we can save the sandhill crane, and we can save wildlife by keeping them as an asset, a renewable asset that is worth money and family hours of recreation. It is so damn simple that the brainwashing of our anti-education system and the anti-nature media and the nature-hating Hollywood freaks, they have brainwashed people that think if you stop the bear season, that the bears will just continue to live. No, they won't. My buddy, the USDA paid hunter with our tax dollars, he slaughters those bears and those lions because we, the people, have been extracted from the conservation equation. HunterNation.org and HuntTheVote.org. And I can give you an example in all 50 states, Keith. It's absolutely embarrassing how these nature haters are putting wildlife in the liability column instead of the asset column.
100% true. And, Ted, you always talk about calling your elected official, and sometimes it's your unelected bureaucrats on agencies. Give you an example. You talk about making phone calls at HunterNation.org. We had a ruckus here in Kansas where our unelected bureaucrat Parks and Wildlife Board is trying to ban supplemental deer feeding. So Hunter Nation put out a card, a call to action to 34,000 licensed deer hunters in Kansas. If hunters would get as passionate about all of the issues as we can get them fired up on the hunting issues, if they would make those calls because of the open border, they'd make those calls because of engineered recidivism. Yes. If they would just simply go to the ballot box and say, hey, I've had enough across the board. I mean, what kind of force could the American hunter be as far as the direction of America and America's policies in the future? Final word.
Well, your Kansas example is perfect, and that could be universal across this land because the hunters, the licensed hunters in every state are a major force if they would vote. So once again, I hope everybody has the greatest hunting season of your life. And if you're watching the Nightly News just because you love the piss and vinegar and the defiance and the fact that I cultivated the most effective middle finger in the history of we the people, be sure that you join us and be sure that you get out there. And if you've never shot a bow and arrow, find one that is graceful and effortless to draw, and learn the hand-eye coordination. The origins of Zen, the origins of the martial arts, is the mystical flight of the arrow. Just get out there and go for a walk beyond the pavement with your family and loved ones, and if you need hearing aids like I got, the bird song orgy in the great outdoors. When I sit in my tree stand every morning and every night, Keith, it is like a symphony of sounds, nature sounds. And it's at least those 3 or 4 hours that I'm in my tree and walking back to my ATV and coming back to the cabin with the dogs. Life is perfect. You can have a moment of a perfect American dream happiness, and it will happen in the great outdoors. So thank you, everybody, for making Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild the #1 hunting show for 33 years now on the Pursuit channel, 8 times a week. Watch how Shemaine and I cleanse our souls and how much fun we're having. It literally is a sanctuary against the otherwise toxic world that the government and the global forces have created. And if you need to relax and breathe easier and feel good, God's miraculous creation in the great outdoors, nature is the ultimate healer. So, Keith, I hope you get out there. I hope everybody gets out there. Mother Nature will cleanse the soul, and I, for one, I need all the battery charging I can get, and I get it every time I head into the woods or the fields or the swamps or the forests with my dogs and my wife Shemaine and my kids and my grandkids. Get outdoors, become a hunter, a fisherman, a trapper, but most importantly, be a We the People activists. Go to hunternation.org and huntthevote.org. And I hope to see you at my Real America's Voice every Friday night. On Real America's Voice, I have a spirit campfire, and Shemaine has a Real America's Voice, Faith and Freedom. Think of that, Keith. Faith and Freedom Spirit Campfire. Well, that's the cure right there. Thank you so much, Keith and Tim, for the nightly news. Thank you, everybody, for supporting Truth, Logic, and Common Sense. And I will see you here, there, and everywhere. And once again, thank you for the greatest tour of my life. Jason Hartless and Johnny Big, my incredible crew. My Gibson Birdlands are in the other room right now breeding. My guitars are now breeding again, getting ready for the next concert. I won't be doing a tour, but there will be Ted Nugent music. And I so thank and appreciate all the incredible support for the last 68 years for my musical dream. Keith, get out there and cleanse the soul, man.
Great week, Ted. I look forward to next week and more of the Nightly News right here.